Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the MRL. Apparently I have a little bit of an echo going on my end here, but there we go. It's settled and sorted. But we are back, of course, for MRL action. It is Tier 2 Division Racing, and joining me for all of it, of course, is Unicorn. How you doing today, Unicorn?
Jeff, I'm doing absolutely excellently. I absolutely love Monza. I think it's probably one of my favorite tracks, at least in the game, as well as in real life. It's a very iconic track, a very fast track, and I love driving it. I love driving it yesterday, and I very much look forward to seeing how Tier 2 tonight tackles it, whether it rains or shines, as we've had both so far this week already.
Yeah, two very different races between Tier 3 and Americas here so far. Of course, 11 turns Monza, and a very fast circuit, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, of course. And here we are for round 15. Now, next week, for a different circuit in Singapore. Following that, Russia, Japan, the United States, Mexico, as well as Brazil, and then the finale in Abu Dhabi for round 22. Now, of course, massive shout out to our partners, the Next Level Racing cockpits, motion sims. They've got the wheel stands. They have so much great gear over there at Next Level Racing, so you can check them out via the link, of course, in the chat or in the panels down below on their website for some awesome high quality gear to take your racing to the next level. And of course, massive shout out to the event that we have just opened up registration for. You can check out the link in the chat. You go to our website, misfitsrl.com, or you can type !event to register. We've got some prizes and giveaways happening for an 80 driver tournament. And of course, with that, we're going to jump into business with the standings for Tier 2, Unicorn. Azir leading the championship, the Williams driver, the Spaniard, having a little bit of a shaky couple of races recently. Now, Crampy in second position with his teammate Scars. They had a stellar drive last week through Tier 2, and we'll see if they are able to repeat that performance. I spoke to Scars. He isn't sure for Monza. Everybody looking quite quick, and I have it on good authority that Jake, number 4th in this championship, is the potential favorite for a win here. He's shown great pace and great speed around at the Temple of Speed for some time, and I imagine coming in here for round 15 has only enhanced the amount of time and practice that he puts into this great circuit. And of course, his teammate Swifty J right behind him. John, Henners, Pavel, Max O'Connor, and of course Hugh Sam rounding out the top 10 in that Drivers' Championship. We take a look at the Constructors. Alfa Romeo leading things, not too far ahead of McLaren, and Red Bull's right there in it as well. But it is a very tight championship all the way through this grid, both constructors and drivers alike, and we'll just have to see how they go here for this 15th round now of racing action unit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, there's a lot of in the top of that Drivers' Championship right now. There is a very interesting battle that's going to come out here. You know, Jake, he's been strong in this track since the get-go in this game, so it'll be very interesting to see where he lands. The two Alfa Romeos, they've been on a real charge recently, and as well, you know, as yet we haven't seen him perform in a little while. I'd be very happy to see him perform again, you know, to see where he has, like you said, I think it was Hungary where it really started to show that he was on a bit of a lost streak. He just didn't seem to be in control of that car. He just seemed to be a bit all over the place. Hopefully he sort of got that consistency issue down, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens in this one.
Definitely going to see what happens. Of course, we're going to have that roll of the dice on the weather in this 18-minute qualifying session, 50% distance race. And, well, we saw that full wet qualifying for Tier 3 yesterday. Of course, you partook in that. And basically, after that, everything lightened up for the rain. It went into an intermediate condition race, and we saw quite a couple of different dynamics happen because of that. Of course, we'll see how that plays out with this grid today. Tier 2, of course, has been very tight throughout the season, as have all the grids in reality. And, well, Tier 2 today, Tier 1 tomorrow. We've got APAC left, but I'm really excited to jump into this one.
Yeah, we're just waiting on one more person, and then we will have our full 20 driver grid. And I think, well, someone's having some sort of connection issues. One of the Alpha Taris, I think, We just lost for a brief moment there. I think Mark's having a little bit of a connection issue, but once we've got him back in here, we'll be all set to go racing here in Italy.
Always want to make sure we can get everybody in and racing, of course, and just lovely to see the full grids. Want to make sure everybody has their best opportunity to race, and of course you can take a look at the chat now as there is a prediction. Will Scars get back-to-back pole position here in racing? Love to see those predictions. Of course, you can participate in them with your channel points.
And I think there's been a lot of very successful people as a result of those channel points predictions. A lot of people have done very well with them. And I think that is everyone we've got. We've got that full 20 driver grid. So we are ready to get underway here in Monza.
Love to see it. There we go. I want to talk about a quick statistic as we jump into this this race here. As I see we have Stars, one of the Americas commentators, having a good laugh in the chat. Good to see Stars there in Tiger Style. And of course, the statistic I would like to share is that we have Mr. Henners on the grid today, and he will be taking up his post over at McLaren. Henners, having driven in the MRL since its inception, has never completed an entire Italian Grand Prix. Can today be the day?
Well, I was on board with him and a little bit of practice race in a VC with him. He didn't seem too confident that today will be the day, but that was a few days ago, so we'll see what sort of performance he could put in there. He didn't have, the full time to complete that practice race, but I think had he had that time, he just crashed out through a Scari, I think, in that one. So he just needs to take it a bit easy. So we'll see what he comes up with here. But the Scari chicane, it's caught a lot of people out in the past, and it's wet here in qualifying.
Oh, beautiful!
It's a damp track. It is actually raining. It looked like it wasn't raining, but it is. But it's a very wet track, that's for sure. Intermediate tires on all of the cars in that pit lane.
Beautiful. That is a beautiful sight to me, especially if it shakes up this grid for a dry or even a dynamic race. We'll see what we can get from the chat. Of course, a bunch of the engineers, I imagine, going to be flowing through in there to give us a perspective on what's coming. Pretty soon we won't need to do that. I'm going to get my own little telemetry set up here, and we're going to be like a full-blown booth, Mr. Unicorn and I, for these races. We're gonna get mission race control. It will be established. Everybody right now, of course, 18 minutes is the qualifying session. Everyone right now, I imagine, getting setup styled, and maybe there's gonna be rain in the race as well. Haven't seen any official report come through chat yet, but this really presented an interesting dynamic for the qualifying in Tier 3 yesterday. Of course, America's was dry, but full wets was the qualifying in Tier 3. Now we have intermediates being shown. AlphaTauri is being seen there to be first out of the pit lane. That's not Larsen, but it is his teammate Mark. So Mark, who's been showing great pace in this division, but has been getting caught up in some unfortunate incidents, I have to say.
Yeah, no points on the board for him yet. He's actually the only full-time driver yet to score a point in the championship. So, just like Henners, I'm sure he'll be looking to right a wrong here today.
And a note, I do believe we did have Mark join us at a later stage in the season. He hasn't been here in that position since it began.
Been here since France, so 5 races he's completed, but some of those for the Pirates, not all as a full-time driver. He's been, well, France he reserved, and then ever since Austria, there's 4 races since then: Britain, Hungary, Belgium. So he's had a few races now. He's had 4 races where he could have scored points for his constructor. And he's yet to do so. But he'll be the first one to set a qualifying lap here at the Temple of Speed, and we'll see what he's got in the bag for this evening. And his wet pace, which I think a lot of people, they don't practice because Monza is such a fast track. You want to be having as much fun as possible, and it is a very fun track, but I think a lot of the time it's a little bit more fun in the dry, just, you know, lapping by yourself in time trial.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Here we go. Mark now. On the run. A very long run into turn 1.
Yeah, nicely done. Through the Rettifilio chicane. Now, well and truly on to the Curva Grande. Full throttle through here, even in the wet. It's such a fast track, dry or wet, compared to anything else. Down now into the Rogier chicane. Nicely done through there. A little bit of the rear stepping out, sliding across the wet track into the first Lesmos then for the AlphaTauri, and again, composed. He doesn't look particularly fast, but this is just the banker lap. You want to get at least one time on the board before you start really pushing, especially in these conditions. Now, as he comes down towards the Ascari chicane, we've mentioned this already, that it can catch people out. We'll see here. He takes a lot of that inside curb into the first corner. You want to just get as maximum entrance speed that you can, and he's got through there. No problems. And importantly as well, it's still a valid lap time. When you're really pushing, it can be pretty easy to pick up an invalidation here in qualifying. Penalties, not so much of a problem in the race. You can pick them up for sure, but not everyone will be. There's a little bit of a slide coming out of Parabolica to the line. He's not hugging that right-hand side, but it's a 130.2 to kick us off here. Not a bad lap, but a 129.6 coming in from Lil Shen. And a 129.5 for Scars. And oh, Mark's lost an end plate on something. I'm still on board with him. I don't quite know what.
A lot of drivers getting laps in now. Mammal making a return to the grid today in the Red Bull. Nice to see. Bit of a lock up into turn 1, but he gets himself into 5th position. It was a 29.837 for Mammal. Teammate for the day, Jake. Favorite for a potential win here today. Henner is the driver who's never finished a full Italian Grand Prix in the MRL, coming in 9th position here so far.
Championship leader Azir just hopped into P7 on 129.8. He's behind Scars and Crampy, who are both looking to hunt him down. Right now, Jake, he's about to run out a lap, and there it is, a 129.3. Everyone had him poised as a danger man coming into today's race, and well, if bank laps are anything to go by, it certainly seems that is the case, even in these intermediate weather conditions. Hops himself to the top of the timing tower by 0.2.
XTXP joining us once again, as he recently missed a race due to well, if I'm not mistaken, and to his embarrassment, a power nap. But he is now flying down the long straight into Parabolica. And, well, hopefully we'll see him come through with a solid time here in this conditioned, intermediate condition qualifying. Crampy at 28.595. Scars, they're on the front row. XTXP 31.681.
Yeah, right now that grid pretty tight, and we've seen that sort of throughout this season, that the tier 2 grid is pretty competitive. We've got a few guys at the top who have been, you know, coming out as the stars of the show, who are taking those podiums week in, week out, but out, well, 128.5 is just beating Crampy's previous best time. A lot of these guys, they're going for another run here. Jake fails to improve on his second run though, so we are going to see times improve when, you know, low fuel runs start to come out of the park.
Everyone coming to grips with the conditions, of course.
You just have to find the limit, because obviously when it's wet, the track's never the same sort of level of water at any one point. So you just got to work out where it is, where the grip is, where the grip isn't. And then once you've got that sort of comfortable, you can get in a bit of a faster lap a lot of the time, get those tires up to temperature as well. All of these things play into the lap times here and why people go for that extra lap in comparison to when it's dry. You're a little bit more confident.
Validation here for Alp on a potential second run. Of course, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We are here for Tier 2, Round 15. It is the Italian Grand Prix. We're racing here around the Temple of Speed. It is Monza. And of course, my name is Strifium here from Canada. Joining me from the UK is Unicorn for the racing action here in the commentary. And of course, feel free to share the stream. Get your friends and family in here, and if you have anyone racing that you are rooting for, let us know in the chat, of course. Try and get these guys the attention they deserve on track. Jake at 28.392, and it says you said everybody's starting to chain some of these laps, get a real good feel for the circuit. Jake gonna be happy to get himself out in front once again.
Yeah, Eruption just improved as well, and the Mercedes on 129.1 coming out of him, so you can see we were sat at, 129s for a long time now. We're starting to find those 128s already, and they'll only get faster as the dry line starts to form, unless the rain gets worse, of course. A few drivers on flyers right now. One man coming out of the pit lane I want to speak on quickly. Jean, I do believe it is the Haas driver's birthday today, so he'll be hoping for a good result here at Monza.
Well, happy birthday to you, Mr. John in the Haas, and I hope you have a fantastic race today. We'll see what he's able to do. Presently 10th on this timing tower, and we've known John for quite some time. He's a Misfits original, as we say, and he's, well, he didn't come into this grid full-time immediately, but everyone was happy to see him do so.
Coming across in the chat from Rutanius, presumably engineering the racing points, that the race is in fact going to be dry. I don't know if we'd had that weather report prior to this. We'd obviously just seen that it was raining here, but dry race here at Monza, and that means that we might not see the most impressive intermediate quality times if people are on those dry setups. Their cars might be a little bit twitchy, and to be honest, I'm surprised if that's the case, that we haven't seen a few more, spins. Well, I think I might have just...
Yeah, you did. Husam, he completed a lap to get himself into 10th position. Right now, he's just looking to see what's going on as drivers come out of turns 1 and 2. But he had a bit of a slip coming out of turn 2, and fortunately, he has gone around. Thankfully for him, though, he just completed his run. So he's going to have a little bit of a tough time getting himself back to the pit lane, but he did get that lap in. Henner's right now 17th position on the timing tower. He's coming through into Parabolica, the McLaren driver. Looking to improve on that 30.5. He looked to be up quite a good margin heading through into Parabolica. What's he able to do at the line? Good for 7th here. It's a 29.217. Nicely done from the English driver.
It's just 4 thousandths behind Lil Shen there, so... As much as you can be happy with her P7 there, it'll be a little bit gutted as year. Oh, he's had a huge snap coming through out of Parabolica into the grass. Manages to avoid the wall impressively enough. But my goodness, that was very, very touch to go for the Williams. And again, it's just that uneasiness that he seemed to be having over the last few weeks. And now, well, he just decides to get out of the Mercedes way and has decided to take the slalom. But, allows you to, make it look like you're not cutting. First chicane.
Doesn't really let you get through there without destroying the polystyrene or whatever it is that they're imitating in this virtual space. Mark retiring the car.
Crashed.
Where has he crashed, though? I'm trying to find him. It's out of Parabolica here.
Yeah, he's on the left. I don't know how he's managed that. His car has bounced off a wall. I don't know which wall he hit to get his car there. He's off the track, so it shouldn't impede anyone's lap. But his car is just sat to the left of the track, but miles away from a wall. So he appears to have just bounced off of something. That must have been a pretty hard hit to have managed to get his car there.
driver to note, Angel back on the grid today in the Ferrari. If I'm not mistaken, he is here in a reserve capacity once again. Filling in for Darian Alfie.
And we've got a few reserves on tonight's grid. Angel, like you said, Mammal, you've already mentioned, and Yar Santiago as well. All names I think we've seen before. But as always, a big shout out to all of our reserves who, help us fill these grids when the full-time drivers have maybe got a little bit of a real-life commitment that prevents them from attending 1 or 2 races every season.
Definitely, the reserves make it work. Of course, you can take a look in the chat. The Misfits Grand Championship has begun officially, as the registration window is now open, and you'll have just about 2, almost 3 weeks here to go. Angel with a big snap out of Ascari in the Ferrari, and he's not going to be thrilled about that. Trying to get out of the way here for some fast movers. But just to quickly finish up what I was saying there, yes, of course, you can go to the website misfitsrl.com or type !event in the chat and head on over there and register for our 80 driver tournament. There's cash prizing for first, second, third, and the overall best scoring driver in the tournament. And we're also doing a giveaway thanks to our partners Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat as well, and the panels down below.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to get underway. It's a very, very exciting prospect, sort of that knockout style bracketed tournament that it is. It's
double elimination bracket, so it's going to be very cool.
Different to this tiered action, and it's just variety is the spice of life, they say. So I'm very excited to see how all the drivers, whoever they may be, tackle that one. As Alp now coming out of Parabolica, he invalidated his previous run. He hasn't done that here. He's already third, fast on the timing tab. What can he produce? There it is, fastest time, 128.297 to beat Tuptus's previous fastest. I think Husam there. He's just started a flyer as well. And there has Jake is flying. And I think he might have just had a little bit of a toe. I'm not sure, off of his reserve teammate in the form of Mammal there. We'll see it filling in for Swifty J.
Monza circuit where the tow can be quite effective, and when your full-time driver teammate is unfortunately absent due to, like you said, real-life commitments, etc., which of course takes priority, it can be quite difficult to set up a tow with a reserve driver. Mammal, a very good driver, very quick driver. We've seen him through MRL in Season 3 and of course earlier on in the season that we're presently in here in Season 4, but Jake and Mammal maybe getting that tow. It didn't seem like it got him anywhere. Now he could be starting another lap. A bit of a slide coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, Jake struggling to improve right now. I'm wondering whether the conditions, they've not improved. The rain's still continuing to fall, and I think a few of these drivers might be struggling to find improvement right now here at Monza. It's like, the rain hasn't stopped, and that means that the track's just going to get a little bit wetter lap after lap, or as the timer counts down, as we are still in qualifying, of course. And Jake, he hasn't found any time through Sector 1. Let's have a look as he crosses the timing line just before the Sky chicane. He's very close to beating his previous best, and he doesn't need to find much time to beat Tuptus for P2. He hasn't got that fuel light as well, so he might be able to go for another run.
Those slips and slides in these wet conditions, I mean, they're par for the course, but they will hinder you by such a fine margin that it will make all the difference in a grid that is this tight right now. Here he comes to the line. We'll see if it's an improvement. A massive improvement coming out of Sector 3 here. Look at the time on that Red Bull Unicorn. It's a 28.055 for Jake. Wow.
Yeah, I wonder if he goes again as well. He's not got the fuel warning light, and if he can't go, oh, well, not now. He's had a big loss of traction out of turn 2. Down there in the Rettifilo chicane. His teammate Mammal as well for the evening. He went up to P4 as well in the other Red Bull, so despite the fact that there's a reserve right now, not too bad for him, and they'll be happy that he's beating the Alfa Romeos right now. Crampy is on an invalidated run. He is going to get to the line, though, with time to do another one. Eruption just improved back up into P5 for him. A huge 7/10 improvement. So maybe the track conditions are getting better here. Scars, he is on a flyer. He's a little bit down coming into Sector 3, but we just saw Jake find all of the time through the final sector. Let's see what Scars, who has been on a huge run of form recently, has got in his locker for tonight. Here he comes out of Parabolica. He might be going for another run here. He's lined it up in turns for the better run down into turn 1. Not confident with that lap. It wouldn't have been an improvement anyway. It was close. But we've got a lot of people on their last attempt, I think. Yeah, Jake has dropped it. Almost dropped it as well. Eruption, he might have found even more time here. And if he continues like this, he could see himself well into the top 3, if not onto the front row of this grid.
Here we go,
He's
Mammal
found
now.
massive time.
Mammal to the line, no improvement for him, but he has begun another run, it would seem. So everyone with that opportunity to get that other run in.
Well, I want to see what this time from Eruption is. It was a huge first 2 sectors from him. A little bit of slide coming out of Parabolica, but nothing major for him to the line. Where is it? It's P1, a 128 flat.
What a lap.
Just 100th, well, 200ths of a second faster than Jake, but what a time.
Very nice
from the
time.
Mercedes driver. He'll be happy with that one. Crampy, he's not improving.
Jake now. He is on a run, but he does have that fuel light on. No, he's not going to be able to improve here. I don't think he has the fuel. Mammal, his teammate, however, he might have an opportunity. Tuptus behind him. Scars crosses the line. A 27.955 out of the Alfa Romeo, and that's provisional pull. Can anyone do anything about Scars? Can anyone do anything about back-to-back pole positions for the Alfa Romeo? Jake on a run.
A couple of people possible. Tuptus maybe through the final corner. I don't know what his first 2 sector times were like. Jake is still pushing as well, so maybe not a problem for him. There goes Mammal into P2. There goes Tuptus to P1. A huge improvement for him.
Jean P3. Everybody's improving. Henners will not be, however, due to an invalidation. Max O'Connor now in the Mercedes. Major circuit improvement for all the drivers as they hit the line. What's it going to be for Max? It's good for 9th. Half a second improvement. XTXP will not be improving. He has invalidated it, and it looks like this, ladies and gentlemen, will be our grid. Jumping into racing action here for Tier 2, round 15.
Well, what a qualifying that was. You just see there at the end, everyone finding a little bit more time and waiting until the end in these wet qualifying sessions can be the way to go. And for those drivers that did, it has worked out brilliantly. We have got Tuptus on pole. A real late steal at the end there for that top spot, just taken away from Scars. So I'm sure anyone who made the incorrect prediction there will be a little bit disappointed, but on the other side of things, I'm sure there will be a few winners. A new prediction is up in the chat. Will Tuptus win the race from pole position? So get your channel points in there if you want to. I don't know what the odds are on that. I think it's done when all the channel points are done. But in terms of qualifying results, we have got Tuptus on pole, 127.609, 3/10 faster than Scars, the South African in the Alfa Romeo car. Then we have Jean on his birthday in P3, Mammal in P4, reserving for Swifty J in that Red Bull seat. Then Eruption in P5. Jake, who was a firm favorite coming into this one, only good enough for P6 in the other Red Bull. We'll go through the rest of this grid in just a moment when we are on the formation lap. But like I said, there's a prediction up in the chat. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You're here for Tier 2 action around Monza. Tier 1 will be tomorrow, same time, same place. But right now, there it is. The rain has dissipated. We are here for a dry race. I don't think we're predicted any rain for the end of it. But here we are. Everyone getting their setups, strategies dialed in, finalized before we start this race.
Oh, I am very excited for this one. Wet qualifying, shaking up the starting grid, of course. Looking like a dry campaign. Going to be a lot of fun to see where these drivers find themselves at the end. And of course, there's that solid run down into turn 1. Take a look at how everyone's shaping up for tires on this formation lap, as everyone on those inners will have a free choice. And of course, have to see who takes it at the Temple of Speed here, Unicorn. Tier 2 racing action, everybody. Get ready.
Yeah, you just mentioned it there, the run down to turn 1. I think our Statsman Stars put in the chat 638 meters, the run down into turn 1. Hopefully he's still there to appreciate that one, but there we are, that grid. And well, Scars, as a result of that intermediate qualifying, Chev, has got mediums in P2. That is a very, very bold strategy call. And I think that might be the favorite in terms of what everyone else in the top. I'm surprised more people in the top 10 didn't do it. Maybe they just weren't thinking about it. You've got Azir and Alp there in 7 and 8 doing it too. But I was expecting more.
I agree with you. The tires quite unique, to say the least. It's quite the shakedown throughout this grid. Of course, we have Tuptus, Scars, Jean, our top 3, Mammal, Eruption 4-5. Jake in 6th, Azir 7th. We have Alp in 8th. Of course, Alp is taking over full-time duties for Neon, who has been promoted to the Tier 1 division. They switch seats. So Alp dropping back a division. And of course, we saw him last week, unfortunately missed the race. We didn't see him, and that was when we saw Angel take his seat. But of course, we'll see now as all these drivers get to the grid where things stand. See the predicted pit stop strategy: soft, medium, soft, hard. We'll see how safety cars may affect things. Of course, get those predictions in the chat.
It's pretty split right now as to whether Tuptus will win this one. And I think with the mediums and Scars, he has a strong, strong campaign as well. But here we are. We're just waiting for Pavel now to round out this grid striff.
Tuptus, Scars, Jean, our front 3 here. And I'll give you the honors here around Italy, Unicorn.
Well, here we go. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Monza, and we will have that little bit of desync that we are so very used to. It's a little bit unfortunate, but we are away here in Monza. Tuptus gets a good start, but who is that? It's the Red Bull of Mammal already up the inside. He's up 1 place. Can he get Jean as well? He's going to look for it. He is up the inside. He's already 2 places into the good now. Oh, and he's been caught by the Haas. A little bit of slide. He's caught it though. Very, very impressive driving from the Red Bull to save that one, and he maintains P2. Jean not pushing hard either. Now we've got the Williams of Eruption. Azir, sorry. An Eruption. Who was that? Someone very wide. It was Max O'Connor, very wide, coming through the Curva Grande into the gravel. He drops down the grid massively now.
Someone's just taken off an end plate.
Larsen is off, coming through the Rogier chicane.
Well, welcome to Monza. This is very, very fast start to this race. Alp right now, wheel to wheel with Henner, is saying hello. Just because I might be new here at McLaren doesn't mean I'm going to be giving you lead of things. And he's taken over for Neon. Of course, Neon was the lead driver in that duo, and NextTXP now getting ahead of Husam as we come through Ascari. Larsen quite tight to the rear of Husam as well, and things are quite tight all throughout this grid. Drag racing down into Parabolica is Rackety. He's got Little Shen on his outside. He's on the inside now. Rackety with the medium compound tires. Tuptus in lead of this race, of course, collecting the fastest lap of the campaign. The timing tower is going to give us a proper read here in a few seconds. Angel on the outside on the run into turn 1 is going to dispatch Azir for the moment. Azir trying to hold on that inside. Back through on the inside for the Ferrari. What a move around the outside for Azir. He takes Angel easy as he likes. Scars and Jake wheel to wheel coming through Curva Grande. Now we're on lap 2 of this race, ladies and gentlemen, and there is no shortage of action.
Yeah, Eruption's going to look for Scars as well. The mediums really are struggling in these starting few laps. You got Jake there taking Scars as well. It was a hard-fought battle. Scars really trying to squeeze Jake into turn one, but Jake wasn't having any of it. Pushed through, and now Scars on those medium tires. It looked like it was going to be a strong strategy, but in these opening laps, he's really been taken by a lot of these other soft runners here. And as a result, he's fallen back massively. And maybe the medium tires weren't the call, because everyone else went for the softs. If more people had taken the mediums, they wouldn't have been too bad. But because so many people went for the soft tires, Scars is really losing out now. Eruption, what a run he's got out of the Ascari chicane. He is looking for it in the Mercedes up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. And again, we are seeing Scars lose another position. He's going to try it and defend it around the outside. And Eruption is spun. He is around. He's into the wall. He's still in this race. But a bit of that portion of that front wing has come off. Right in front of the pit lane, so he'll be able to come and get it fixed. But my goodness.
Straight into the pit lane. We've seen Mark now do a lot of serious moves. And right now, he just passed Rackety. He's on these soft compound tires moving through his... Well, through this back end of the field. He started further back. He's made up quite a few positions here. 6 positions gained for him. He's following Santiago, who's made up 9. 7 positions for Lil Shen. A couple of pit stops coming through now. Eruption and Max O'Connor, a bit of a double stack over at Mercedes, which is going to hinder them massively here in Monza. And we haven't seen any safety car or VSC deployed yet. A couple yellow flags, a couple of end plates, but nothing major as of yet. Angel hunting down Scars here in the Ferrari. Ferrari's wanting to do well here. Of course, Alfa Romeo wanting to do just as well, considering it's the home race for the pair of them.
Yeah, obviously, you want to be performing well when it's something like that, a little bit of a monumental race for those sort of teams. And even though we are in the virtual world, Angel, well, he saved it, but he had a little bit of a shaky exit coming out of Ascari there. He's still very much on the rear of Scars, though. He's using a lot of battery to stay there, though. And given the tire advantage, you don't really want to be doing that. Scars using about the same amount of battery to stay ahead of him, but he is going to be faster in the second portion of the race. So he's want to be saving some of that battery for when he's got that advantage, but using some of it now to stay ahead. But Angel, easy as you like, past the sister team car.
Jean Mammal having an exchange here in the first turn. Jean, third position for him. Jake on the rear of the Haas wanting to do some work. John with a little bit of a desync there. Hopefully nothing long lasting or heavily impacting for Jake's point of view. But we saw Jake with that big snap coming out of turn 2, and that really compromised his exit and potential to get Jean at the moment. But Mammal being ahead of this Haas, giving Jake a solid opportunity to get himself into these podium paying positions. And he didn't start here. He started in 6th.
A little bit further down the grid, Henna's looking at Eruption for 17th position.
Here goes Jake getting this run on Jean now, and Jean having a little bit of a connection desync, and I think it's causing his car to maybe drop back a little bit, and you hate to see that.
Well, he's still in control of it, so fingers crossed it irons itself out pretty quickly for him. As the 2 Red Bulls are right in front of him. Jake, another wobble this time through Parabolica. Still ahead of the Haas driver, who isn't able to capitalize. He's still having problems here in that Haas, and that might leave him vulnerable to Angel behind. He's going to look at all of this.
Here goes Alp on Azir. Oh, he wasn't close enough to make the move. I thought for sure he was going to put it down the inside there. Of course, Scars now. This'll hurt. He's taken 3 seconds, Unicorn.
Well, 3 seconds this early in the race is never a good sign. Alp, he's going to look for it on the inside of Azir, maybe into Roger chicane. He doesn't go for it again, exercising a lot of patience here, but at the same time, I think he's got some pace locked behind this Williams right now. And both of these guys on the mediums. Behind Scars, and I think the softs might be starting to fall off a little bit. We've got Tuptus up at the front, 3.4 seconds, the gap between him and Mammal. And with everyone now slowing down on the other softs, the tires starting to die out a little bit. They'll get caught by the mediums. Battling will happen in this huge train that we've got from 2nd all the way down to 9th. And that's only going to extend Tuptus's lead. So he'll be very happy with how this is going in the racing point. As we've got a yellow flag. It's Eruption, it would seem, who's just got passed by Hugh Sam. No damage on that Mercedes. So not quite sure what's happened down in the lower end of the field. as the leaders come on to lap 6 of 27. Down the start-finish straight into that Rettifilio chicane.
Well, this is a very tight grid right now. We take a look at the gap from first down. Well, we've got a whole whack of exchanging into the first turn here. Excuse me. Azir and Alp. Well, Azir still holding on. Shen. Little Shen right now looking hard at, of course, Alp, and all of this exchanging. It's wild. What a wild race we're seeing. Angel and John now. John has been dispatched by the Ferrari. What a race we're seeing. Lap 6 out of 27, and there really hasn't been a lot of separation on this grid. But I can tell you one thing, Tuptus is having a cruise up at the front. 3.7 seconds for the racing point right now in lead of things, and well, we'll just see how he's able to carry that through once the pit stops start rolling.
Yeah, and everyone, you know, you can see those softs are starting to get a bit of a troublesome. Jean having a problem out of the Ascari chicane. Scars now, this is his time to shine. He may have that 3-second time penalty, but that doesn't mean he can't go and start overtaking these guys as their tires start to switch over, and he gets a little bit of revenge. He got overtook a lot at the start being on these medium tires. Jake, he's been stuck behind his teammate for quite some time now. Mammon has been going with some great defensive driving. Jake, with no battery left in the tank, takes his teammate for P2. Meanwhile, Scars is going to overtake Jean around the outside into turn 1. There's been a bit of a contact between the two Red Bulls, I think.
Well, that's not
and
good.
Mammal retaking P2. I don't think there's any damage on either driver's car. But they're still side by side as they come out of the Curva Grande into the Rogier chicane, and Mammal back ahead into P2. And with Jake, you know, with 0 battery in the tank, he's got a little bit more now, of course, but he will not be happy with that one.
What a race we're seeing unfold between the two Red Bulls. Angel in the rear view mirrors as well. And of course, Mammal, although he's here in a reserve capacity for the Red Bulls, it's important to note that he will not be scoring points for that team. He'll be scoring points for the Pirates. Here goes Angel looking at the inside of Jake. Jake goes later on the brakes. He's gone into the rear of Mammal, and I have to say, that was some serious application of pressure. And look at how it has unfolded for some of these drivers. Angel pushed the Red Bulls into a major error there, and they're 6 and 8 in this grid. Angel into 2nd position in the Ferrari. Scars advances into 3rd. Oh my.
That was very, very dramatic. Azir, he's got a huge run on Jean, who's having some sort of really bad connection to this lobby right now. But my goodness, that issue between the two Red Bulls there, Jake will not be happy at all, because Mammal, he's in that Red Bull seat, but like you said, he is not here for the points for the team, and he takes Jean to get him back into P5. Jean drops now to P7 with Alp coming past him as well. But the two Red Bulls there, they will not be happy. We've seen a bit of battling between some Red Bulls in the APAC division, and obviously, well, the Red Bull going into the rear there, my mind drifts back to Baku a few years ago with that. Max Verstappen, but Lil Shen, he gets past Jean as well. That car is going super slow on track right now. He's not disconnected from the lobby, so no idea what is going on for Jean here, unfortunately.
Alp's had an issue coming out of the second Lesmo. He's gone into the gravel trap. XTXP not close enough to inherit position, but Alp has dropped into that final points paying position for the time being. And meanwhile, up at the front, Scars on these medium compound tires has made his way into 3rd position as a result of that Red Bull incident. He is now going to dispatch the Ferrari of Angel. There is a yellow flag coming up through the Ascari chicane, but nothing has been sparked yet in the capacity of a safety car, virtual or otherwise. Jean and Alp now exchanging, and as you said, Jean continuing to struggle with whatever connection issues are happening over for the Haas. So now Scars into 2nd position, absolutely flying away on these mediums. Tuptus 5.5 seconds ahead of Scars now in 2nd position, and Tuptus having a great race on these softs. Can anybody stop this racing point?
Well, he's looking very, very confident right now, but to be honest, a lot of things have happened in this first stint that have helped him along. You know, we've had that incident there that's brought Scars forward, but it's dragged a lot of people back who were sort of, you know, Tuptus' main threats. Now Scars is his main problem. Scars has that penalty, but he's going to be faster in that second stint. When Scars is on the soft, Tuptus will be on the mediums. And that's going to be a big problem for the Racing Point. He's got a 5-second gap now, but it's being closed by Scars, and we've seen Scars' pace over the last few weeks. He is not going to give up until that checkered flag. And I think he's still on for a very strong result here and could still win this race. Almost definitely. Azir as well. He's had a few problems here and there, but P4, no penalties, importantly. He could be on for a good run. Return to some solid points as Pavel, Rakety, a bit of an exchange there. There's a Williams, Yar Santiago.
This
what
could
has
be
happened
trouble.
to him? He's very slow out of Scary.
We still have
Very
20 drivers in
visible.
this race, Unicorn. There hasn't been any crazy incidents resulting in terminal retirement. Here goes Azir and Angel exchanging now. A battle between Spaniards. Azir making his way through, and Azir having a bad couple of races. I wouldn't say bad, but I'd say tough, right? And compared to his form that put him into lead of this championship, he'll be happy to put himself into third in any capacity.
Yeah, I think he just needs to score some solid points and keep extending the gap. Crampy right now, P2 in the standings, 19th on the grid right now. So it looks unlikely that the Alfa Romeo driver will be scoring points. His teammate doing a lot better right now, despite the shaky start with the mediums versus the softs. But yeah, Azir just needs to score some good points, get a few podiums over the next few weeks. He's still the driver with the most podiums in this division, which shows you how good his start to this season was. He's just had a little bit of a blip, hasn't really had the best return since that Easter break, where we've seen some drivers return, like Scars, like Neon, really return on full form, ready to fight. Azir, he just hasn't seemed to be quite as comfortable as he was before then. Now, looking a bit better for it.
Sam just had a big issue coming through Curva Grande. He put a foot in the gravel here. Eruption trying to take advantage, getting a little bit shaky through the chicane, and now we've had an issue. There's a retirement on track. What's happened coming out of Ascari? There's a huge collision. Mark and XTXP are out of this race, and ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry to say, but we have a safety car deployed on lap 11 with 2 cars out of contention. Mark in the AlphaTauri, XTXP. It would appear both drivers collected in some kind of incident coming through Ascari.
Both cars on the track as well, so you're not surprised there's a safety car here. Leaders have beat the safety car out, but I think they're going to be staying out for a little while longer. The mediums right now, this has not come out at a good time for them. Come out for a good time for those guys on the softs though. Soft runners, it's been a bit of a toss as to whether they're going to go for the mediums or the hards. It's a bit of a distinction there. You've got Angel, Lil Shen, Jean all picking the medium cop out of tires. Everyone else right now looks like they're going for the hards, and everyone else is into the pit lane as well. This is going to bring a few people back into this one. But my oh my, we've just seen, I want to say it was about a minute ago, Striff, you said we still had 20 drivers in this race. Now we've got 17, so
I mean, that's a commentator's curse, you know. I had to say something about how we all had the drivers still in contention, which is something you love to see. And unfortunately, we have those incidents. Husam out of this race as well, and I'm not entirely sure if it was in the pit lane. What happened to Husam?
Oh, I don't know if there's a Haas engineer. I didn't see him retire there. Anywhere, crashing. The leaders are coming. Scars is in. Is he going hards to the end? He must be, surely. There's no way softs are going.
If he goes softs, I mean, it's a major gamble for a potential safety car, and he's going to be on the hards, as you said. Azir now, he's going hards. Larsen. Let's see what Larsen decides to do here, if it's just going to be hards for all of them. Yeah, hards. So the softs, not even a possibility right now. They still need a few more laps. If this had been anything later.
Brilliant news for Tuptus, because he was leading this race when he had the tire advantage. Now he's still leading this race and he's still got the tire advantage. He might struggle towards the end, but if he can put a gap between him and Scars like he did before, he's going to be very comfortable, I think. Especially with Scars' penalty.
The DRS can be very, very powerful here. And one thing that we haven't really seen with Tuptus yet was how he handles being pressurized in a DRS train. If Scars is able to keep up with him, we could see something else happen with this racing point. Now, if Scars' tires come into life at the end of this race, to a point where Tuptus no longer has the fighting pace to defend against the Alfa Romeo, He could theoretically speaking, maybe get ahead and pull a gap. I mean, getting ahead is an entire challenge on its own. But what a race we've had develop here. We take a look at the penalties, which can be so crucial at a circuit like Monza, especially when there's a safety car like this. It doesn't matter if it's halfway through or closer to the end when it's a circuit like Monza where everybody can stay in pretty good formation. Scars with 3 seconds. Angel with 3 seconds. Shen, Alp, 3 seconds. We have Jake Henner's Eruption, all at 3 seconds. Couple drivers with 6 seconds here. We got Santiago, Crampy, Max O'Connor. They've all got 6. And Pavel, he's got 10. Is going to hurt massively. Fastest lap, 121.420. 121.420 from Crampy in 16th position, the Alfa Romeo driver. Biggest winners so far, Lil Shen and Pavel up 11 positions each.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the tires right now, and the mediums, you know, Mikhail's just come across in chat as well to confirm it. The mediums, they just look so strong at this stage of the race under the safety car. I don't see them being that weak at the end of the race. They will be a little worse off than the hards, but whether the pace, you know, difference here is going to be enough for the hard tires, you said it yourself, DRS can play a factor. But if Tuptus can break that DRS, which he could on the exit, we saw it yesterday in the restart on tier 3, I think it was. But as soon as if you get a good exit out of Parabolica and you catch the person behind off guard, you can really have a great run. Obviously, in that race, it was a little bit different, very wet conditions, but still almost broken DRS down into turn 1 in itself. If Tuptus can get, you know, just 3/5 tenths on this restart, that puts him in a very good stead to try and gain the other 7 to 5 that he needs to break the DRS and really run away with this one at the front.
Predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Give us your thoughts on how things may unfold. Safety car is coming in this lap, according to race control, as we cross into sector 3. Lap 13, we're going to have green flag racing on lap 14. Tuptus, Scars, Azir, your top 3. Scars and Azir on the hards. We've got Tuptus on those mediums. Angel, Lil Shen on the medium compound tires as well in 4th and 5th. Alp in 6th with Larsen behind him, both on the hards. John on the mediums in 8th. We have Pavel, Rackety, Santiago all on the hards, 9 through 11. And then from Mammal all the way down through the remainder of this grid, it is the medium compound tires. And, well, here we go racing. Tuptus is away. Scars, Azir already looking to fight with the Alfa Romeo. It's a wheel-to-wheel battle. It's a drag race. Angel says it's 3 wide now. Coming into turn 1 already on this safety car restart. Angel deep on the inside here. Azir, excuse me, outside now as we come through turn 2. Scars is going to drop not 1, ladies and gentlemen, but 2 positions here, and the Paris Spaniards have mugged the South African driver here.
Well, not only have they lost out, but Tuptus has got 1 second lead I was talking about. He's done it. He's chasing it down now. Lars and Lil Shen, they're exchanging, coming out of the Rogier chicane, but my, oh my, what a restart we've seen so far. Jean's quite close to the rear of the racing point as well. Let's hope that he's got a bit better. His issues that he had in the earlier stage of the race might be fixed, and he might be able to fight back as a result of this safety car coming out. Pavel, he qualified last on this grid, sitting in P9 now. A whole host of penalties for his name, but right now his track position is not too bad. But we're already seeing the mediums, Angel, just using them to their fullest potential, and he's made light work of the hard runners behind.
Here goes Santiago. He had Mammal sniffing his gearbox through the Ascari chicane now. Santiago with a lunge on the inside of Rackety. Not much that the Renault is able to do about this right now, and I think Mammal might have an opportunity as well. Everybody is just trying to shake Slipstream, but there's nothing they can do about it. Both of the Red Bulls right now quite tight to Rackety. Here goes Mammal. Santiago trying to defend to that inside, putting that car on the center line now. Mammal has got Rackety.
Yeah, nicely done there. The other Red Bull now, Jake, looking at him too. And again, it's that hards versus the mediums. Jake, he used a lot of his battery earlier on in the race. We're seeing him use a lot more now. But he's got about 50% in the tank. He's going to go up the inside into the Rogier chicane. That gives Rackety the inside out of it. But I think Jake on those mediums has just about got him, and he does. He secures P12 away from the Renault driver. Gets himself one step closer to the point scoring finishing positions. A little bit shaky out of the second Lesmos, but look at the speed shift. Look at the gap he's already got between Rackety. These tires.
Yeah, here goes Eruption now.
Unbelievably competitive.
Rackety's dropping like a stone on these hards right now. Eruption now into 13th position before the Ascari chicane. John, Pavel, 3-second time penalties for the pair, and it looks like there's an issue up ahead. John, the Haas driver, is facing the wrong way, and that could have been terrible. All of the cars passing him by now. Henner's looking at Rackety down the inside of Parabolica. No, he does not pull the trigger just yet. Rackety a little bit deep. Henner sniffs. Well, he can see the blood. He wants a taste. Here he goes on the inside now. The pit straight. It's a drag race back. Rackety using everything he can. What racing we're seeing on this restart, I have to say, Unicorn. Thrilling.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was one of these drivers right now, if I had a race engineer, or if I let's actually, I think it may be better if I said, if I was a racing engineer and I saw Rackety falling like that, I would be very scared if I was
on the inside. I'm sorry to interrupt you here as we come through the Curva Grande now. Into the chicane. Rackety on the inside. Henner's later on the brakes around the outside. What a move! Rackety's been tapped! A wheel bang has put him around, and he will lose 2 positions.
A nice save from him, but yeah, not the best through there. He'll be disappointed with that one. Right to, what was that? I was just saying, Lil Shen on those mediums. He doesn't quite seem to have the pace right now, but he could be dangerous to these hard runners ahead from what we've seen with Rackety, and now obviously Rackety falling a little bit further for other reasons. But Lil Shen, he needs to be putting a bit more pressure. I just don't think he's got the straight line speed in this setup to quite apply it. He's got the tire advantage right now. His teammate top to still over 1 second ahead. Lil Shen using a lot of ERS, maybe applying it a little bit too early there coming out of Parabolica. Nearly spun himself round. As a result,
Mammo with a serious charge on Santiago. Rear wing open doesn't matter for them now, but here we go. It's a drag race into the first turn. The Ferrari just ahead of them. Santiago is going to have the inside through turn 2, which is a very strong position to have. Mammo, though, such power in that Red Bull. Santiago's got a bit of a slip, and he's lost 3 positions in the space of 2 turns, not only to Mammo, but to Jake and Eruption as well. Henner's now will be looking to inherit, and things are really getting spicy in this grid as Eruption trying to hold himself into these points positions with Jake.
Yeah, Lil Shen's actually caught Larsen now, who's not too far behind Alp, but Alp himself, he's got no DRS, so he could be a little bit vulnerable here to the AlphaTauri and the Racing Point as well if he's not careful. We've got the 2 Red Bulls fighting as well as they all come down towards the Ascari chicane. We've got a bit of a gap behind. Well, Pavel is sort of leading this train. He wasn't the fastest in qualifying. And now we're seeing him not be quite so quick in the race, but he has gained a lot of positions. And he's more than entitled to defend it with his life, but he's a little bit wide. Can Mammal find an exit here out of Parabolica that gives him the run on the Ferrari? Behind him, there is Mammal, DRS wide open. Here comes the Red Bull driver, just steaming past the Ferrari. And up into P8 goes Mammal.
Larsen and Alp exchanging through the first turn now. I believe Larsen's taken Alp for 5th position. Max O'Connor taking a 3-second time penalty. And I have to say, all but 5 drivers on this grid now remaining with penalties not on the board. Everybody else penalties, and that's not going to help you when things are this tight. We're on lap 18 out of 27.
I'm wondering now whether the mediums might already be slipping. Or Angel, he seems to be getting caught a little bit by Azir and Scars. The hards, obviously, they'll just be starting. They're not going to be dying anytime soon. But Angel doesn't seem to be running away from Azir quite as much as he was, and he's got very little battery in the tank as well. Also interesting, Azir and Scars very close on track right now, both gunning it for that top spot in the standings. and both very much capable of winning this entire championship. This race could be very, very important.
Here goes Eruption. Jake now under major threat. Pavel looking at Mammal just ahead of them. Who is going to be the first through? Eruption within a tenth now. Not enough yet. Pavel, like he had to really get on the brakes there, and Jake caught him up quite good. Larsen now. What's happened with the AlphaTauri? There's been a big issue coming out of the second turn. He is off. Trying to get that car rotated around. He's got to be very careful, and he is going to drop like a stone through the screen. He's gone around again. He is not getting that car pointed the right direction right now.
Well, once you've spun once, it's so easy to spin again with the overheated tires, etc. So I doubt he'll be too thrilled about the first one, but the second one really brings him out of commission. And now at this late stage of the race as well, it's so hard to come back from a mistake like that. You know, earlier on, if you'd had that same mistake, Max O'Connor, Crampy, a late lunge, and Max O'Connor puts him deep into the Ascari chicane, and Crampy retakes 13th. It was a very bold move, very optimistic move from Max O'Connor.
Switch from Crampy now to Scars, his teammate at the front, at the tip of the spear, and Azir holding on with Angel. Is he going to have a look? Yeah, he is. Down the inside, Azir on Angel, the Ferrari. Nothing he can do against the Williams right now.
Such a late move as well, and what a brilliant way to do it, because if you do it late like that and you do it cleanly, well, the other driver has no way to respond now. Can Scars go for a move on Angel? Can Angel go for a move on Azir? Both think better of it, but Scars might get an exit out of the Roger chicane. He doesn't, but I think we are starting to see the hards come a little bit alive now with the mediums 8 laps old. They're not feeling too good. Remember as well, Scars and Azir, they pitted a lap later than Angel and Tuptus because they were already ahead of the pit lane.
That's right. That's exactly right, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Unicorn. I think that in certain areas of this circuit, we're going to start to see these hards really give these drivers maybe a bit of an edge near the end of the race. Eruption now on the rear of Jake. Jake following Pavel. There's just a solid train right now for this 7th position behind Mammal. Santiago and Henners are now well within it as well.
Scars, he really needs to dispatch Angel quickly if he has any hopes of getting on the podium, because that penalty, well, there's a lot of penalties actually up at the top there. Mammal, he could be set to gaining a lot of positions. Scars not quite finding the space down into turn 1. But there's a whole host of penalties there of Toptus, Azir, and Mammal. This is excellent news. Rackety as well. I don't know how many positions he stands to gain here. I think not too many, but there are some big penalties down there. Max O'Connor, Crappy, both 9 seconds of penalties apiece. Now Jake very close to the rear of Pavel as they come down towards the Rogier chicane. He doesn't find anything there. But maybe on exit, he's got a good run through. Not to be for the Red Bull driver.
These Red Bulls have been all over our monitors today as they've been really caught up in a lot of action. They've been tight racing each other, other drivers. They had that issue through the Ascari chicane. They're still checking in with Scars and Angel as they try to keep up with Azir. Azir in 2nd position without penalties. 1.5 seconds on the rear of Tuptus, who has been having a stellar performance today.
Yeah, if I was, if I was Jake, I'd be slightly thankful that that wasn't my full-time teammate to have that incident with, because that would make future races a little bit difficult. You come out of it with a huge crash like that. Who is that? It's Santiago sliding. He's on a massive crash.
Ooh, yeah, straight into the Parabolica wall.
Avoided it.
Straight into the pit lane.
For someone who's never finished a race trip, he'll be happy that that Williams got off the track where it did.
That is bad luck, and that's, well, we've seen issues into that wall outside of Parabolica a couple times now this week already, and this is the 3rd of 5 races for the MRL divisions, and then we have Formula 2 on Sunday as well. Tier 1 tomorrow, 8 p.m. British summertime, 9 p.m. Central Europe, and that'll be 3 in the afternoon for any of you on Eastern Daylight Time like myself here in Canada. Of course, Joining me is Unicorn from the UK and Yar Santiago. Not thrilled about that issue at the end of a very, very dynamic race, and he'll call it in the pit lane here on lap 22.
Race quietening down a little bit, but Scars, Angel, this battle's about to get a lot more interesting because Angel, he has not got a lot of battery left in the tank. He's got about a third of what Scars has got available to him, and that can leave him very vulnerable out of Parabolica into turn one. Both utilizing now, but Scars has got more to play with as they run down the start finish straight. Look at the speed from the Alfa Romeo compared to the Ferrari now looking for the outside. He's got a lot of overspeed as well compared to his year. He needs to be careful here he doesn't run into the rear of the Williams. There's been a little bit of contact. Arnell gets a little slide going. He gets caught on the Alfa Romeo and they get a little bit too close together, and Scars is through. Wasn't the cleanest overtake we've ever seen, but no one's damaged, I don't think.
What a move from Scars there. I mean, such tight racing through that first chicane. Jake Pavel now, the Ferrari Pavel in 8th position here. He's had Jake on his rear for a while now. DRS in it for all of these racers.
Yeah, the thing is with Jake, he's stuck behind, but I think he's stuck behind partly for his own fault. Not only is he on the medium tires and Pavel's on those hards that, will really be starting to see a little bit of a performance drop off on the mediums, but Jake's run out of ERS again. He has been really heavily utilizing it, and now he's got Eruption behind him as well. And Eruption, he's been using a fair bit as well, but he's been catching Jake. So Jake now, he hasn't been able to find an overtake. If Eruption would be a little bit more creative than the Red Bull, find an opening, then maybe Mammal right now in the other Red Bull, he's got DRS. He doesn't need to use ERS. Lil Shen's trying, but he's low on the battery as well. He loses the position to the reserve in that Red Bull seat. Jake still failing to get past Pavel with Eruption still on his gearbox too. So see how that battle unfolds in the final 4 laps here, or 3.5 as it were, if we've all come out of the first few corners, with the exception of Larsen, 24 seconds behind.
Has just brought himself within a very good space of Scars, ladies and gentlemen, because the Spaniard has just taken 3 seconds. And that does change things.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing that would ever happen, but if he catches Tuptus now, he's going to be very annoyed with him. So I don't see it happening at this stage. But if Tuptus's tires die off, then you might see him catch, and well, it'd be very, very difficult to catch, overtake, and then extend a gap of 3 seconds. Jake picks up another 3-second time penalty.
That is rough for sure. The penalties, the 3-second time penalties, of course, aren't servable in the pit lane in any capacity. Angel now has Alp charging him down less than half a second the gap, and he will have that DRS where Angel does not. Let's take a look at the run now. The McLaren, look at the speed here, and you can just see the DRS playing so well. Angel wants that inside line, wheel to wheel now, a little bit later on the brakes for the Ferrari. Angel holding off Alp for now, and meanwhile we have Jake and Eruption just behind them having an exchange, and as Crampy and Henners are as well. And Henners 12th position right now, both drivers looking a little shaky coming out of turn 2, but what a
Tuptus
race.
has picked up 3 seconds.
Oh, hello. Well, that's just crazy now. Everybody in the top 5 with penalties.
Shouldn't play too much of a role in the end of things, but if he does get caught, it brings Azir back in, and now Azir will be kicking himself, because if he didn't pick up that penalty, he'd be in lead of this race right now. Same with Scars, actually. If he didn't have a penalty to his name, he'd be in lead of it too.
There goes Henners looking at Max. He jumps off. Well, I'd say jumps off. He got off the throttle there.
Scars, he's just tapped the rear of his ear. They're all right, but the South African is getting very close to his rival. Alp, he dispatches Angel down the start finish straight. Nothing too difficult there for him.
Henner's Max now with a very tight exchange into the first turn. Henner's holding on to 12th, just trying to keep Max at bay here. Now, one thing, of course, in the top 10 is that Mammal has no penalties, and with Mammal no penalties, given the tightness of this grid, we're on the penultimate lap of this race. He might just shoot into a potential podium here as he comes back after some time being out of the grid.
I don't think it's going to be a podium for him, but it could be 4th. Here goes Scars on his ear into the Ascari chicane, and he's got that move done and dusted on the Williams. And with just 1 lap to go, he might have just sealed Azir's fate. He needs to be careful though. Azir has more battery and he has the run down into turn 1. Let's see what we've got here on the last lap. This is going to be very action-packed between these two for the podium positions.
Azir had
and
such
if they
an
fight,
exit.
then maybe they bring Mammal into it. But look at this run, Strip. Look at this run for the Williams. He just breezes back into 2nd place.
Yeah, he had an amazing exit out of Parabolica there, and something that's hurting Scars is the fact that he does not have a lot of energy at his disposal on the ERS, and with that, it could be crucial at the final stage of this race. Azir going to probably dump all of what he has in the final sector.
Both have got that fuel warning light on. So we'll see how that sort of plays into things.
This is a fight for 2nd position, ladies and gentlemen. Azir from Spain, Scars, the South African driver in the Alfa Romeo, who is going to get this position. Scar is utilizing DRS now. Azir does not have the DRS as we come into Ascari. He's utilizing all this battery. He needs to get this move here. Does he have what it takes? Does he have the run? No, it's not enough yet. It's not enough yet. Azir, 2nd position as we come out of the Ascari chicane. How's the exit for Scars? 2 tenths. It's closing. It's closing. It's closing. Neither driver with any battery in it right now. Who's going to have the better run coming through Ascari? Right now, I'll tell you something, Tuptus is going to cross the line here in first. Scars on the rear now of Azir. It's not going to be enough, and it's going to be Tuptus, Azir, and Scars. 1, 2, and 3. Mammal collects 4th. Angel in 5th.
That's been a huge shuffle with penalties on one of last lap we just saw from those two drivers. And also, you'll love to see it. Henner's. He scored a point here in Monza. He'll be happy with that one. With the stat we were reminding him of at the start. He's never finished a race here before, but I think penalties have helped him and lifted him here into the point scoring position. So I don't think he finished 10th, but he's got 10th place in the standings right now. I think Pavel finished ahead of him. I think Crampy finished ahead of him. But Hennes will take that 10th place home. So big congratulations to him. But my, oh my, what a race, Jeff. That was brilliant driving from this tier 2 grid. Driver of the day still goes to Pavel despite getting demoted because of those penalties, starting last on this grid.
That was an absolutely thrilling campaign here around Monza. That was a great race. I enjoyed every moment of that. I hope everybody in the chat did, and I'm sure Tuptus did, because it was a superlative drive from him. We had Azir Scars with an absolute fight to the absolute end, we'll say. And I really enjoyed all of it. And of course, we're going to have interviews from the top 3 in just a few moments. And then a raid. Wow. Tuptus. First on this grid for the Racing Point squad. What a win for him. Azir, he started 7th. He finishes 2nd today. What a race for him, the Spaniard. And of course, Scars, the Alfa Romeo. He started this race in 2nd. But the South African driver does collect the podium regardless. He does drop back 1 position, but it was a solid campaign from him. Mammal started in 4th. Finishes 4th. Angel from 10th to 5th in a reserve capacity for Darian Alfie today. We had Eruption start this race in 5th. He drops back to 6th. Lil Shen, 16th to 7th for him. Jake started in 6th. He drops back to 8th. 2 positions. Alp started in 8th. Drops back to 9th. Henner started in 12th. Finishes in 10th to collect a point for McLaren and collect his first race finish around Monza in the MRL. Rampy 11th, Pavel 12th, Jean in 13th. We had Rackety in 14th, Max O'Connor 15th for this one, Lars in 16th, Santiago in 17th, with Husam 18th, XTXP in 19th, with Mark right behind him on the timing tower after XTXP and Mark got collected in some kind of incident through Ascari. Of course, everyone will have a chance to review post-race. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for tuning into this awesome race, and we'll have interviews in just a short moment.
Yeah, that really was something of a campaign there. You know, you got that interesting title fight as well going on between Scars and Azir. Azir getting himself back onto that podium. It's been a few races. We haven't seen him up there since Britain, where he took P3. Last race out in Belgium, dead last. P20, the race before that, 17th. Both DNFs for the Williams driver. So it hasn't been a great run of form, but are we seeing him return right now? He has had such a great season start. Now, maybe just starting to secure a few more points to get himself into those, you know, championship winning position that he's in right now. He's still in P1, but can he stay there? Because he's got a couple of hungry Alfa Romeos chasing him down. Jake as well in that Red Bull's not too far behind Scars. So we'll see how it goes to speak of the man of the hour. I believe we've got a few interviews to get going here.
That's right, and we're going to be starting with, of course, the South African driver, Mr. Scars of the Alfa Romeo squad. You started in second position today. It was a wild, wild campaign. You took third, all things said and done, and how you feeling after that one?
I don't know, honestly, because a lot of things happened. Of course, I got a bit lucky with the two Red Bulls and Lars in both. I don't know what they did, but they all went off and kind of gave me some free positions. But then the safety car screwed my strategy over, and then I got pushed off at turn 1 after the safety car restart, which also lost me a couple of positions. So I don't know, I guess I gained some and I lost some as well, which is unfortunate. But I mean, P3 is still not too bad. Got a podium again, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, the podium's starting to come more and more. We're starting to see you here with us more consistently. How does that play for you moving ahead in this championship?
It's pretty good. You know, 3 podiums in a row is pretty good. I haven't had consistent podiums yet, or consecutive, so I mean, it gives you some confidence that I have the pace. But yeah, I'll try and keep it going at Singapore as well.
Speaking of Singapore, we've had a lot of wet running lately in the MRL. Are you confident for Singapore in dry or wet in either case?
I think I did a wet race there a couple months ago in a different league, so I think my pace was pretty good. But I'm 100% certain in either session qualifying of the race is going to be wet. It always rains there for some reason. But yeah, I think I'm pretty good in the dry as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, congratulations, Scars, on a third position finish in Italy, and we'll see you next week for, of course, round 16 Singapore. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our third place finisher, Mr. Scars. Joining us once again here, no stranger to the commentary booth, and, well, from Spain, it's Azir. Congratulations on a great drive. You made up quite a few positions in this race. Let's have your thoughts on this race, Azir.
Yes, it was a very difficult race for me. I came from a bad streak, but I managed to come back after a bad qualifying, and in general, I am happy with my race.
It was a very dynamic race once that safety car had come out. How did that play for you?
Maybe it was lucky for me, but I beat for hearts, and then I think I had a very strong pace. But yeah, I think P2 is like the best that I could do.
Well, it was a great race from you, Azir. With that second position finish, how are you looking ahead now for Singapore?
I want to continue with the points and continue with a good performance, because I'm fighting right now for the championship. Sorry, and yeah, I think I just want to do a good race in Singapore.
Well, thank you so much, Azir, and good luck for you in Singapore, and we'll hope to see you here again soon.
Thanks.
All right, now joining us last but not least, and the winner of this race, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tuptus, our race winner. From me to you, Tuptus, congratulations on a great drive for Racing Point today, a great win from pole position. And as always, I'm going to give Unicorn the honors in asking you the questions, but just from me to you, congratulations. Take it away, Unicorn.
Well, Tuptus, like Striff said, congratulations. You haven't been here for too long. You know, we've seen you 2 races now, 1 full-time last time out in Belgium. We saw you in Britain as well, but you're really putting your mark down, stamping yourself with a pole position, translating it to a win. Very, very impressive. How are you feeling after that one?
Thank you. I feel really good about this win. It was pretty lucky with the safety car. Without the safety car, I think I couldn't win that because of the medium runners. But yeah, I got lucky.
Well, like you said, it came out at a good time for you, but before that, you looked very comfortable in first place. Behind you, a lot of battling going on, a lot of, you know, when the soft tires started to die off a little bit, the medium runners starting to attack those behind you, and you just seemed to feed off of that, gain a gap, get nice and comfortable up at the front, and then that safety car came out right at the perfect time for you. But never at any point, you know, the safety car reset was pretty much perfect from you. Talk us through that, because you had a second before turn 4, I think. So just talk us through that safety car restart.
Yeah, I did a restart, but I didn't think that it was good. But because of the medium runner, I think it was a Ferrari. Yeah, they had to go 3 wide and they lost the time.
Yeah, you really took full, you know, opportunity out of everything that was thrown at you here, and it was just, you said it was lucky, but you looked so comfortable. Even when you picked up that penalty at the end, everyone behind you already had one. Now, we've only seen you for a couple of weeks so far. We've never seen you in a street racing circuit. Singapore, height walls. How are you looking forward to that one next week?
I like Singapore, so I think podium is gonna be the goal, and yeah, rain could be good as well.
Well, Tuptus, thank you very much for taking the time out to interview here with us in the commentary booth, and I'm sure with the performance you've had so far in the few races we have seen you, it won't be long until we're seeing you here again. So another congratulations, and we'll see you next week for Singapore.
Thank you.
What a race that was, of course. It was just great to hear from all the drivers after an awesome campaign around Monza. Thank you to Marco Furlick for the raid. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you to everybody tuning into the stream, and that is going to wrap it up for Unicorn and I for the Tier 2 broadcast. Of course, we'll be back, Unicorn and I, tomorrow for Tier 1 action. That'll kick off at 8 p.m. British Summer Time, 9 p.m. Central Europe. And that'll be at 3 p.m. in the afternoon for anyone going by Eastern Daylight Time. Once again, my name is Striffium here from Canada. Joining me is Unicorn from the UK. And be sure to check out all of our social media and visit our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat, or of course the panels down below on their website for some amazing sim racing rigs, motion sims, as well as wheel stands. They've got some great quality products for the beginner or the advanced user to take your racing to the next level. We have their Misfits Grand Championship coming. Type exclamation event in the chat and you can register for that. 80 driver tournament, prizing of cash prizes and giveaways, as well as a Next Level Racing cockpit. A lot of fun stuff coming up, Unicorn. Any closing statements before we raid?
Oh, I just think that was a brilliant race, and I cannot wait, Striff, to see what Tier 1 provides us tomorrow, because Tier 1 is always a very, very close grid, and we saw it here. Trains can be formed, and it provides a lot of very, very exciting drama here at the Temple of Speed. And well, who better to tackle the Temple of Speed than the fastest grid we've got? So I'm very, very excited to see what Tier 1 I've got. But that's all from me, Striff, and I'm very, very excited to see what we have tomorrow.